This is looking south along the beach at Huatabampo. Actually, this is Huatabampito, which I guess means just a smaller version of Huatabampo, the larger town that's near here. And we're looking kind of like north now, I guess. And that's a resort village. And I'll drive by there in a little while and show you some of the houses. Some are quite impressive. Some look like they could have or might become impressive. And others look like they're just run down and forgotten. This is another view that I've taken from the top of some sand dunes behind the vehicle. This is sure an idyllic looking area. Behind us here, which I'll try to get to on my kayak, is a beautiful little inlet. It looks like it'd be neat for kayaking. There's some fishermen out there now. It looks like it must go for quite a ways. If this green is any indicator of where it goes. I purposely chose a place like this, so I didn't know this was here, and I didn't know I would find it, because I wanted to get as far away from the Guaymases, the Mazatlans, the Acapulco type places as I could. Here are some restaurants. I don't know if they're open. We'll go back up there in a few minutes and see if they are or will be. Doesn't make any difference, but it'd be fun if they were. This looks like a new building right here. You know, it's freshly stuccoed. Roof's still in the process of going on, I think. There's a beautiful home with a big, looks like palapa. This one doesn't look like it's been used much. Big sand dune in the front, starting to deteriorate. This looks like a shrimp factory over here, just because it shows shrimp there on the wall, so I'm just assuming that's what it is. That those tanks maybe are for the shrimp. Might be interesting to drive over on my bike and look at that. Some small places here. Look like they're presently occupied. Somebody from North Carolina. Well, you can't buy property, at least I don't think you can. You can lease it, and at very good rates. What a beautiful place to hang out. Here's an older place. It looks like it's still used quite well. Very pretty place here. Again, doesn't look like it's being used all that much, maybe even abandoned. It's not being kept up. Big sand dune in the front. When you see places like that, I wonder whether the people fell on hard times or whether things are so cheap that if you just decide not to use it, it's no big deal. Here's a broader view. Some of the homes on the right, a goodly number of them seem to be unused. There's a pretty place in there. It seems maintained, yard and so forth. That's kind of nice. Kind of an interesting place, used, maintained with that color there. Some of the nicer ones down along this area. Very pretty one, well maintained. Extremely well maintained. Excellent condition, of course. And goes all the way to the beach. Very beautiful place. Pretty one. Small but quaint. I had seen lots of brown pelicans, but no white pelicans until I saw this huge flock right there. You can tell they're white when they rotate. I mean, you can see the white when they rotate and the sun hits on it. And they're towering right up high. Not sure if this is focusing or not. End of town. Looking further east, that's the Long Spit, fairly large sized town. I'll pan slowly out to the ocean. And then curiously, a little town that Huatabampito. This is a bay directly behind me. In other words, to the north of where I am positioned. Small herd of cows out here with some wranglers on foot and wrangler on horseback there, and then in the background some exposed land in the center because the tide is out. Some kind of birds stationed on that. What I'd like to do is to drag this thing, my kayak, or carry it over to there, and then go up the sound, or up this bay or lagoon, whatever you want to call it, up and around the spit, the far end that you can see, I think, right there, and then back to the van. And there seems to be more activity around here than usual, which makes sense. This house has a camper in the back, or had a camper in the back that said North Carolina on it. It's a newly built home. It's still in the process of being constructed, I think. And so it's interesting to wonder who and what those folks are doing. We're only about 8 hours away from the United States at this point, taking the freeway basically straight through to Tijuana. The awning comes out quite a bit farther than that, but I find this a pretty quick and simple way to set it up. It's freestanding. I don't have to use the ropes that I would normally have to use in the pretty substantial breeze that's here. I don't think this is bothering the awning, and yet it keeps the sun off me. It keeps it a little bit cooler on the inside. Just lets the breeze blow through. You can see the tide's out quite a little bit right now. Okay, my van's just over the top of that little hill, and I'll start my little trip right here. Hopefully it'll be just kind of a fun little run up this bay and then up to look at some of the factories, and then back down along the ocean where I was yesterday. This little estuary I just floated into is just filled with birds. There's some very mature brown pelicans, some egrets over there. Those are ahingas, or the kind that's akin to that. Further down you can see lots of birds. Little sense of the dimension of this lagoon, and there's some really long lagoons that are created by the tidal spits, or all kinds of birds here, terns and gulls and pelicans and grebes of different kinds. Probably going right over there somewhere. There's a spit of land and a tower. Well, I'm up on some kind of an observation tower on a point. That's the little town of Huatabampito, and I came up a channel that is back behind that area to the left, right straight dead center actually. And then I went over to this fishing village. It starts with a Y. I'm sure it's a fish processing plant. On the other side there comes a panga, although I'm not sure that's the correct name for this one. I'm just about in the middle of a huge feeding frenzy of pelicans and that other bird I can't remember that reminds me of the ahinga. And if you see them, they're coming from over there. And they've been coming for the last 5 or 10 minutes by the thousands, and they're still coming. I'll try to focus as far down there as I can, and hopefully it'll focus. There, you see it. They're coming by the thousands, just in a continuous stream from wherever it is they're coming from. And you can see them diving here in a frenzy. There must be a giant herd of herring or whatever little fish around here. But it's a pretty exciting thing to see. I'm going to see if I can drift into it further and see if they'll just keep doing what they're doing. If you look back, they still seem to be coming. They don't seem to be terribly impressed with me. Each night I slept over near that little white building, which I thought was just a cute little building. Turns out to be the bathrooms. And this is the restaurant I like most. Great shrimp, and tons of it. And ironically, there are 3 buildings here in a row, and each one has the same name. And I think this one and the one beyond that building right there are both operated as restaurants. This is kind of a cute story. The man there on my bike is probably the head wrangler, and he can't take his truck down on the beach, but he needed to find his cows, and I knew there were a bunch of them further on down where I'd seen them when I was kayaking, so I gave him the bike, and it looks like he may be trying to figure it out a little bit as he continues to ride it. It may not be as easy as he thought, I'm not sure. I wanted to give you some idea of the vast agricultural area along the coast of Mexico, at least the Sea of Cortez. This happens to be just due east of a small town called Huatabampito, and almost as far as the camera eye can see, clearly as far as the camera eye can see, are rich fields of produce, near technology. The quality of technology used in the United States is used here, including insecticide planes. In addition, alongside of me apparently is a huge botanical or flower complex for raising different kinds of flowers, including roses. Great number of buildings dedicated to something along that line. Obviously, I don't know what I'm talking about. Let me focus here too, if I can, on the soil, which seems like a weird thing to be looking at, but this is a rich, thick soil. Probably ranging in quality of probably about 80% of the black soils found in places that apparently is the best of agricultural soils. So when people think of Mexico as little farms or little cooperatives of farms, they haven't even got a clue. They haven't even got a clue.